Hello, Agent of Doubt. Hoopla here, creating a video in response to your ramble on gravity. I wanted to share my opinion because I am also an atheist and I saw Gravity opening night and I've dragged a few other people to see it since then. I really liked it and I didn't see the religious components as harmful for me from my atheist perspective. I saw it as storytelling of hope. And I know that you can very easily make a argument that it's lazy storytelling if you have to use, religious symbolism for hope. But I think that was what they were doing, and it didn't affect my viewing. Huge caveat: I am a big space buff, and that I can probably excuse more or the movie's faults, that I didn't even notice anything was wrong the first time I saw it with the science. I was just that tightly engrossed. But getting back to the atheism, when I watched it, I was seeing the storytelling of hope, and there was some very practical physical realities. When Sandra Bullock's character hit, her arguably one of her lowest points, and saw George Clooney again, there is such a simple explanation for that. At that point, her brain is so oxygen starved that it's going to be producing faulty data. That someone I know went through a near-death experience where they believe they had an out-of-body experience, and when I hear that, to me it's just a very simple thing of understanding that yes, your brain was working at full speed and all of a sudden didn't have enough oxygen and to produce dependable results. Excuse me, I'm a very new beginner. So at that point, then the vision that she had can take place. Funny thing is, I did actually see it my second time with one of my very good friends who's also an atheist, but he studied film, so he saw it through a film criticism lens of very Christian iconic message. That the biggest thing to him was in the Soyuz, when they saw a Russian Orthodox symbol of Christianity there. I'm not sure if it was St. Peter or if it was actually Jesus. You'll have to forgive me on that. But I saw that as a hope thing, that equivalent to the Buddha on the Chinese Shenzhou craft, or even George Clooney's happy-go-lucky attitude that I'm here, I'm going to do the most that I can while I'm here, and that Sandra Bullock's character rediscovering life of she had begun with a system of she had come up with her own system of trying to avoid life after suffering such deep pain, and that in the end I think that she was convinced again that life was worth it, and she started taking these huge risks to stay alive rather than simply accepting death and going along with it. So that was actually my big discussion my friend and I had with his background in film, having studied film in college. I was thinking that my argument with him was that I thought he was attributing Christian symbology where it doesn't necessarily exist. Particularly, one of the things he saw Christian symbology in was the final scene after, another spoiler warning here, Sandra Bullock here makes it back to Earth, that the capsule is sinking into the lake. I believe they filmed it at Lake Powell and then CGI'd in extra plants. That he saw that as a very simple baptism analogy. Well, not necessarily simple, but she went into the water, nearly drowned, and then came out, having gone from a point of absolute mortal peril, of the spacecraft was literally burning up around her from from both the outside and the inside, to the water nearly drowns her, but then she comes up through the water after we have the convenient camera cutaways so they can deal without having to show it how a spacesuit can come off that quickly, that she doesn't die. He saw that as symbolism. When I saw it at first, I saw a shout out to the space program, the second Mercury mission, the second American space flight into the second American space flight ever, was astronaut Gus Grissom, who would later die in the Apollo 1 fire, unfortunately. But he was there in Liberty Bell 7 was the craft's name, and it landed in the ocean, and then there was an accident. The explosive bolts holding the door on blew without his any input, so all of a sudden he was in a rapidly filling sphere. He nearly drowned before he got out. I thought when I saw that could very well be a call out, that the director Alfonso Cuarón might have just loved that story, and that story resonates with me, and the political aspects of it was blamed on his inactions, until another engineer proved that, hey, yes, explosive bolts, the way that they're designed right now, could accidentally fire when they're back in the atmosphere. So I think that is a question of what are we going to attribute the movie's choices to. And from what I was looking at it, there was a huge love of the space program in there that the sheer detail of the ISS breaking up, it held me spellbound. And it was, like, I know that piece. It was not the Columbus module, no! So, just do that. And I think that, you make a good point, being in a very heavily a fundamentalist area, living in a place that focuses on the families based, that some people could see that and suddenly see the Buddha is the devil, that Sandra Bullock is going to hell now, or whatever. Or I just see it as a simple narrative shorthand for hope. So I wanted to give you that opinion and see if that affected your viewing on that. I think that it's simple to use that because you're talking about hope rather than using some cultural shortcuts for hope, religion, and might have not come off as well on video. Alright, well, thank you for your ramble, and I want to stop this before it gets as long as your ramble. So thank you again. Bye.